According to Jose Rizal, he who does not know how to look back to where he came from will never get to his destination. That quote is very famous as it could relate to a lot of things in this world, may it be in politics, in education, in work, in family, or the life itself.
Yes, that is why it is very important for us to always look back in our history. We must always remember it because we will never acquire what we have right now, not without what happened in the past.
Yes, absolutely right, Jess. Oh, you're here! Hola, Wendy!
Hola!
I am Cathlyn Ann Perez, one of your explorers for today.
And I am Abbeguel Morata, Cathlyn's partner for today.
And we are your grown-up Dora the Explorers! So, partner, are you excited to know our destination for today?
Yes, I am very excited to learn more about our history through Dr. Jose Rizal's different writings. So, where should be your next destination?
What if we go to Museo de Rizal, where we can take a glimpse to all of his other writings aside from his two prominent novels, El Feli and No Me Tangere?
Oh great, I think that's a very good idea.
Absolutely right, that's a great idea.
You know what? I really do admire Dr. Jose Rizal because aside from the fact that he is our national hero, he is such an ideal person. He is smart, he is talented in arts, and he is very kind. And I also really like his novels No Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo. Do you even remember that we once did a role play of No Me Tangere back when we were in 9th grade, in which you played Caesar's character and I played Maria Clara?
Yes, I do remember that. Actually, that was one of my most embarrassing moments in my life. But, you know, actually, upon playing the role of Sisa and knowing her whole character, the whole characters in the novel itself, really tells a lot how great our national hero is. Aside from his greatness and braveness to fight against the Spaniards at that time, with his intellectuality, you can literally say that the piece itself tells a lot during that time. And you know, each character, each scene, settings, the whole context has really its own symbolisms in the society, not just from the past, but also now in the present times. And you know, I kind of understand why the Spaniards during that time were taken aback on tactic revolution of Dr. Jose Rizal.
Yes, you're definitely right.
Yes. What are you waiting for?
You should come with us.
Let's go
and explore
Museo de Rizal.
Wow, it's so pretty right here.
Wow, I love aesthetic, but this is the kind of aesthetic that I want.
Yes, you're definitely right. Oh, you said earlier that in this museum, Dr. Jose Rizal's other writings are located and displayed here, right?
Yes, this museum tells a lot about Dr. Jose Rizal. Since we are talking earlier about his two prominent novels, which is No Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo, why don't we go farther and know more about his other writings, right?
Yes.
And based here on my guide map, every writing is guarded by different historians, and those historians will be the one to assist us and explain further about the piece. So I guess it's exploring time?
Yes, it is exploring time.
Which writing should we check out first?
What if I'll go check out his poems, To the Filipino Youth, My First Inspiration, and True Education, Our Motherland Seems Like.
Then I'll go check The Intimate Alliance Between Religion and Good Education and Mi Ultimo Adios. See you later then, partner.
See ya! Excuse me, señorita. By the way, I am an explorer and I heard that Dr. Jose Rizal's writing entitled To the Filipino Youth, My First Inspiration is located here. Am I right?
Yes, you're right. Let me show you. Let's go.
Hola! Welcome to Museo de Rizal. I am Jeramie Alba, your tour guide. So today we will talk about one of the writings of Jose Rizal entitled A la Juventud Filipina, or To the Filipino Youth in English. But before that, we will talk first about the inspiration of Rizal in making the poem, the interpretation of the piece, and the meaning behind the text. So A la Juventud Filipina, or To the Filipino Youth, is a poem written by a Filipino writer and patriot, Jose Rizal. It was first presented in 1879 in Manila while he was still studying at the University of Santo Tomas. A La Juventud was written by Jose Rizal when he was only 18 years old and was dedicated to the Filipino youth, which he describes as a fair hope of my motherland. So now let us also talk about the interpretation of the piece. So A La Juventud Filipina interprets an inspiring poem and states that Filipino youth are capable of great heights. It urged Filipino to seek their potential by harnessing their skills and talents. It also motivates youth to free Filipino from ignorance and to seek freedom and human dignity. The poem may have been written during the Spanish colonization, but the essence of it applies in our generation as well. Currently, our economy is not doing so well. We have a lot of debt and many unresolved issues. Only a few years from now, our generation will be handling those problems. But how can we if we are only sitting around and being satisfied with the mediocre work? This poem reminds us that we as a Filipino youth has duty to serve our countrymen to our full extent. In order to do this, we must harness the skills and talents we have. We must also take initiative in helping our country. Every one of us can make a difference. The vision that Rizal had for our country can make into reality if and only if we remember our duty. So now we are down to the meaning behind the text. The poem talks about the situation of the Filipino youth during the Spanish era. We all know that Rizal was very passionate when it comes to addressing to the Filipino youth. And I firmly believe that Rizal wanted them to think like him, live like him, and dream like him. If we are going to look at the life of Rizal as a youth, he lived in an extraordinary yet normal life full of hope and dreams for his country. In the first stanza, it was uplifting. It talks about the situation of the Filipino youth during that time. It might be because they suffer from low self-esteem because of the mistreatment of the Spaniards during that time. While the second stanza talks about the increasing desire to improve, as it says, raise the eager mind into the higher station. The third stanza talks about or full of emotions because of the word chain. It signifies a lot knowing the situation of the Filipino youth during that time. It might be because they are not given the right to education, unlike the Spaniards, because they are bound to become Indians. The fourth stanza talks about the good things about the Spaniards, and I believe that Rizal wrote it that way to avoid offensive, malicious act about the Spaniards. It is strictly prohibited to speak against the Spaniards during that time. While the remaining stanza talks about Rizal's suggestion on how youth will be able to achieve their goals because Rizal sees the potential of the Filipino youth during that time. Again, this is Jeramie Alba, your tour guide for today.
Oh, thank you so much. I really did learn a lot and had so much fun in this exploration. So guys, how's our first exploration? Did you learn a lot? You know what? This poem reflects how Dr. Jose Rizal portrays the Filipino youth. He really does give much importance and value to the younger generation, for he believes that we carry the hope of our nation. You know what? Others, especially the older ones, may look down on us youth, and they may think that all we know is to have fun and be reckless. But he's different, for he believes in us, in our capabilities to make better changes for our nation. Well, anyways, I wonder how God is doing right now.
Oh, there you are. Do you see any signage here that tells the intimate alliance between religion and good education? We didn't see any. Come on, let's walk farther. Oh, lo siento, señorita. I am looking for a signage here that tells the intimate alliance between religion and good education.
Oh, you're in the right place.
Oh, that's great.
Come and I'll accompany you. Buenos dias, everyone. I am Raquel Batulan, your tour guide for today. And for today, I will introduce to you one of the writings of Dr. Jose Rizal, which is entitled The Intimate Alliance of Religion and Good Education. To formally start, the themes of the poem are education,
common good, power, and religion. So, the original text was written in Spanish and translated into English language. Rizal wrote the poem on April 1, 1876, the summer before entering his 5th year, as per information given by Father Francisco de Paula Sanchez to R. Guerrero. In 1876, at the Ateneo de Manila, where Rizal was a boarding student, he started to write poems on various topics, such as wars, childhood, memories, education, and religion. It was Donna Theodora who first discovered the genius poetical of his son. And it was also she who first encouraged his son to write poems. It was Father Francisco de Paula Sanchez who inspired Rizal to make fully use of the God-given gift in poetry and improve the latter's poetical art by opening his mind to the enriching influence of the world's literature. In this poem, Rizal stressed the importance of religion to education. To him, education without God cannot be considered as true education. As implied in this poem, that religion serves as the guide and the nourishment to education, and with the aid of religion, education will result to not only intellectual but also spiritual enlightenment. The first stanza compares the relationship of religion and education to that of an ivy and elm, wherein the existence of one is essential to the other. And the second stanza portrays that with religion, education will lead to a greener posture and produce a sweet results. The third stanza portrays that without religion, education is like a vessel lost in a stormy sea. And the fourth stanza portrays that with the help of religion, education will eventually lead to goodness and virtue. Once again, I am Raquel Batulan, your tour guide.
You are very kind and brilliant, Miss Raquel. You rocks! Education is very important in helping the nation. When you have the dream to help our nation someday, then study. Because to enlighten the nation is through education. I hope Abby is thinking the same way too.
So everyone, we are finally here to check out and learn more about Dr. Jose Rizal's other poem entitled Through Education, Our Motherland Receives Light. Well, I wonder what it is about.
Hola, buenos dias. I am Jeramie Formentera and welcome to Museo de Rizal. So I am your tour guide for this book. So are you ready as I take you into the other world of Rizal's writing, which is the poem Through Education, Our Motherland Receives Light?
Yes, I am very much ready.
Okay, without further ado, let's go. I'll tour you around. Okay. Did you know that the poem Through Education, Our Motherland Receives Light was written by Dr. Jose Rizal when he was only 15 years old? That's right, it was on April 1, 1876 at the Ateneo de Municipal in Manila during the Spanish era, a time of great political unrest in the Philippines when national pride was low and the masses turned into violence as opposition to perceived oppression. We may ask, why did Rizal wrote the poem? It is to recount the sacrifices made to obtain education and the rewards, the pleasure in living, the avenue of truth, goodness, and honor. He believes that it is a way to extend our deepest and warmest gratitude for the wonder that we receive every day. Here's a few lines from the poem that highlights the power that education holds. The vital breath of prudent education instills a virtue of enchanting power. She lifts the motherland into highest station and endless dazzling glories into her own shower. Jose Rizal believes that education is the torch lighting the darkness, or the morning sun that casts the shadow over the land. It is the answer to unite the people, to instill the pride, and to provide the tools needed to make positive changes in the nation. Education provides goodness in humanity. It always survives even in the worst storms or hatred of men. Education is the bridge that connects us to success, that cure our ignorance, and that provides us the security and peace knowing that we have the power to protect and fight for what is truly ours. At the end, the struggle for human freedom has won because education provided the key role for thousands of men who honored him. His education provided him noble virtue that someday his country would be free from foreign oppressors. And look what we have now. We have long achieved our independence from foreign colonizers, and we are now enjoying our own rights to education without any hold from the oppressors. And that's it. I hope you have gained information and reflect on what I have shared to you today. As a youth, you hold the power to help the country by educating yourself because Dr. Jose Rizal greatly believes in you. He believes that the youth, you are the hope of our nation. Adios.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing and for touring me around.
You're very much welcome.
You know what, guys? We can really see that our dear national hero, Dr. Jose Rizal, gives so much importance to education. This poem of him definitely aims to enlighten and to show us the true value of education. I know that there are some points in our lives where we will suddenly feel like giving up, and sometimes we get so tired and sick of going to school and studying. Like we all just want to chill, to have fun and enjoy life. But learning is also a big part of life. We cannot always choose to do nothing. We need to learn for ourselves and to somehow repay our parents and those people who supported us along the way. And we also need to return all of the favors and opportunities that we got from our motherland. And we should value education because it is the only treasure that can never be stolen by anyone from us. Well, let's go look for Cathlyn.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? Did I sound correct? Anyways, have you been in a situation where you need to bid a farewell to someone? Yes, you're right. It is so hard. But for Dr. Jose Rizal, his love for the nation is beyond the ground. He was even willing to sacrifice his own life for the sake of our fellow men and our country. And to remember and know further about his farewell words, let's hear about his last will testament entitled Mi Ultimo Adios. Hola, señorita! Can you discuss with me further what was Mi Ultimo Adios all about?
Yeah, sure. Come on. Buenos dias, señor and señoras. I am Jessa in Austria, your tour guide for today. So, today we will be talking about one of the written works of Rizal, entitled Mi Ultimo Adios. So, what is Mi Ultimo Adios? Mi Ultimo Adios is the Spanish phrase for my last farewell, written just before his execution by the Spanish colonial authorities in 1896. Mi Ultimo Adios was Jose Rizal's final testament of his love for a country. So what is its main message? Mi Ultimo Adios is a poem that tells us how beautiful the Philippines is and how Rizal wants us to learn from our past and to see the truth about the world view us. In this poem, he shows that after the hardships and sacrifices, we will meet the freedom. Being a hero is not just by having a superpowers or a superpower which is invisible or etc. But being a hero is a person who fights for his or her family, friends, and loved ones. Did you know that in 1902, the poem was recited before the American House of Representatives? It revealed the nobility of the author and forever changed how Americans looked at Filipinos during the American occupation, resulting to the passing of the Philippine Bill of 1902. Philippine Bill of 1902, or also known as Cooper Act, it provided a Bill of Rights for the Filipinos. Filipinos that protected the rights to live, to acquire property, to practice their religion, to be subjected to due process, and freedom of expression or freedom of speech. Again, this is Jessa and Austria, your tour guide for me, Ultimo Adios, Works of Rizal. Thank you.
You know what, guys? I have a lot of realizations about Dr. Jose Rizal's last will testament, Mi Ultimo Adios, that I wrote all my realizations in my phone. Here it is. The line that struck my soul the most is the last lines that says, "Farewell to thee, too, sweet friend, that lightened my way. Farewell to all I love, to die is to rest." This is a more submissive yet a hopeful tone. Rizal bids farewell to his one great love, and that is his motherland, the Philippines. So as a youth in this generation, we must take into account that the sacrifices of the people in the past led us into these present times. As a youth, we should have at least the audacity to give more value, to give back by giving so much appreciation, value to the moral lessons, knowledge, and philosophies that Dr. Jose Rizal taught us. We could not be the Filipinos who are known in the different areas of the world without the people in the past, without our heroes, and without the revolution that Dr. Jose Rizal dreamed for our nation. He dreamed that this nation, his motherland, his one great love, the Philippines, would be successful with the help of our youth and in this generation. So that all the moral lessons that he gave us will serve as a reminder that we may not betray our motherland over pathetic reasons. Whew, I'm quite emotional. I should look for Abby and calm down. Oh, partner, how was your experience?
Oh, I've had so much fun and I've learned a lot through my exploration. It feels like I get to know more about our national hero through his different writings.
Well, me, the same. I was really having a fun time exploring inside the museum, and I have learned a lot about the different other writings of Dr. Jose Rizal. And thanks to the historians that guide us and assist us during our exploration. And I hope you did the same way too.
Yes.
A pen is mightier than a sword. Through his literary masterpieces, he was able to convey and voice his strong opposition to the abuse and cruelty of the Spaniards to the Filipinos. Through his literary pieces, he hoped that the Filipinos would be inspired and awakened. We believed that his words were not only applicable during the past time, but most of the time. In these present times, even with the advent of modernization, we should always remember the words and lessons that our national hero gave. In one of his works, he mentioned that he does not care anymore if he was forgotten, as long as the message, the lessons, the knowledge, his thoughts, his words, and his philosophy were spread. We who are listening and watching right now, we are one of the youths that Rizal described as the hope of this nation. And he mostly emphasizes in his writings that education is always the key to success. What we are trying to say here is that our biggest realizations depend around education. Rizal is a big advocate for education. So as a youth and a scholar of this government, we should not take it for granted. Hence, we should take it as a challenge to pursue for what's good and enlighten the nation through education.